Let's now move, though, to North America, and President Donald Trump has lashed out once again at Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, accusing him of hurting the housing industry by keeping interest rates high. Trump, in a Truth Social post, argued that the Fed's policies are making it difficult for people to secure mortgages despite a decline in inflation. He's once again calling for a large rate cut to help stimulate the economy. This feud between Trump and Powell has been ongoing. Trump has repeatedly criticised Powell for not doing enough to cut interest rates, especially after the pandemic-induced economic shocks. Trump's push for lower rates contrasts with the Fed's more cautious approach, citing inflation concerns and the need to keep the economy stable. As Powell prepares for his speech at the Jackson Hole Symposium this week, all eyes will be on whether he signals any change in direction, especially as inflation and the housing market remain key concerns for the Trump administration. While joining me, it is my colleague, anchor and correspondent Thomas Porteous, live from the newsroom. Thomas, can you give us a brief update on how we got here?
Yes, of course, Joshua. This is just merely a chapter in the ongoing saga between Donald Trump and FED Chair Jerome Powell, who was previously appointed by Donald Trump in 2018. The Fed is a semi-independent branch of government that, of course, controls the central bank. Now, this relationship between an FED chair and a president is unprecedented, particularly some of the language that has been thrown about, particularly by the US president. Donald Trump says that Jerome Powell needs to cut these interest rates, which Jerome Powell largely cites needs to stay high due to Donald Trump's imposed tariffs. He cites the housing market, problems for Americans getting houses. Yes. Jerome Powell still won't budge. He's been very vocal of Jerome Powell on his social media, Truth Social, calling him too late Powell, trying to turn many Americans against him. Jerome Powell's term goes to the end of May 2026, where Donald Trump already has his nomination lined up. He's also been vocal about his ambition to fire Powell, trying to find these legal methods in doing so to the FED chair. This follows about 3 weeks ago, where Donald Trump actually visited the FED quarters in person, where the two had a public spat in front of cameras. Essentially what happened is there was a new building that was added on to the FED headquarters about 5 years ago. Donald Trump pulls out a letter out of his pocket, citing this as overspending. There was quite an entertaining exchange there, and certainly not a traditional American political exchange. However, as we have said previously, this is an ongoing saga, open criticism, particularly from Trump's end, towards Jerome Powell, and we will see how this continues and see if Donald Trump will once again go against the norm and possibly move forward in trying to sack a semi-independent official of the US government.
Yes, absolutely, Thomas. Thank you ever so much for that insight. Of course, a big development there, and we wait to see how that spat between Trump and Powell plays out ahead of next year. But that is all that we have time for. We will continue to bring you more updates